Hey everyone, in this video I'll be looking at how controller play works in Diablo 2 Resurrected, as well as comparing it to mouse and keyboard. Now the alpha is only available for the PC, but the PC version does allow controller input. So what I've done is I've connected my DualShock 4, my PlayStation controller, to the PC, and let's see how it goes. So the way it works, I've noticed, which is really cool, is as you actually press a button, it will change the UI to be the controller UI right away. And there's a bit of a delay, so I'll actually start walking. I'll press a button, you can see it pauses the game, but now I'm playing with a controller. So what it does is the bottom left here, you can see that it shows the skills assigned to X, square, triangle, and O. And on an Xbox, I have tested an Xbox controller, those do change to different icons. So somebody asked me on Reddit whether those change icons depending on the controller you plug in. The answer is yes, at least with Xbox and PlayStation. I'm not too sure if it changes for third-party controllers, how it handles it in that situation. The potions are actually the analog buttons on the controller. So if I'm just going to switch back into mouse and keyboard here for a second and load up some pots. So if I press the analog button, let me get back into controller mode, the analog button that corresponds with those pots, I will be drinking those pots, which is pretty interesting. You can switch from walking to running with the left click of the analog stick, and you can swap weapons with the right analog stick. The R1 bumper and the R2 bumper are both spell buttons as well. L2 looks like a way to access some additional spells as well, which is interesting. So the menu is completely redesigned for the controller as well, so you get this ring-like cursor and quite a bit of haptic feedback as you go over each item, which is interesting. You can see your belt down here. You cannot access your belt at the bottom. Let's see what you got here. So you have your quest screen, which is now horizontally oriented, your character screen, which is now horizontally oriented. You can also swap between these options using the left one bumper. You got your inventory, your skill tree, which has been, general skills. That's interesting. Okay. Where you can actually bind your buttons. So let's try binding this to my throw to triangle. Okay. So now my throw is set to triangle. And if we go back up, what do we have here? What is this? Loot. Pick up items, weapon, and armor. Interesting. Okay. Assign that to R1. Why not? So it looks like R1 actually just displays all the items on the screen. Yeah, okay. Let's try this secondary. Okay, so that's how you activate a portal, which is interesting. So you hold down the left trigger rather, and you press X. Now I'm curious what else you can map to that area. Okay, so it looks like item abilities is a new category. So I'm going to guess that this is things like charges, or maybe if you have an enigma and you get a teleport from an item, maybe it goes under here as well. Okay, so it looks like it's probably used exclusively for charges, because you can see that I do have Ice Blast and Ice Bolt from this staff that I got here. But when I go to the skill tree and try to assign it under the item abilities, it is not there. So I'm guessing that if I did have an item with charges, it would pop up here. I guess time will tell. The next screen is you have your options, which is pretty standard. It looks like that is just horizontally oriented as well, all the same options. There is this other setting here, which is item drop spacing. So what it looks like it does is it spaces out the items wider to make it easier to pick up with a controller. So I'm going to test fire my fireball. So it looks like it fires in whatever direction you face. Intuitively, I would have thought that you could aim with your right analog stick, but it looks like that doesn't do much of anything right now, which is a bit unfortunate. What I would like to see is aiming with the right analog stick and using your trigger buttons, your R1, your R2, your L1, your L2 to use your skills. So what that would allow is you could be running away and still firebolt at this person without having to, turn back again, look at her, press the button to fire it. Let's go to a mob and see what happens. So here we have a mob. So it looks like there's a new highlight option. It's very difficult to switch between them. I'm trying my best here. Okay, so it looks like you use the right analog stick to actually switch between enemies, which is definitely pretty finicky. So if I separate them out, I can't, it's not as simple as me pointing at the Demon Hunter in the bottom left to target her. Hopefully they fix that after the alpha, or they rework that after the alpha. I don't think they considered a lot of people would be playing on controller on PC. So, oh, I just drank some pots trying to pick these items up. So it looks like as you walk around, you walk over the item to pick them up. There's no like spread menu that you can use to actually, you know, I can't use my right analog stick to cycle through these, unfortunately. Although, yeah, no, I can't. Those just disappeared. Okay, let's keep going. Another thing that people wanted me to test actually was teleport. So let's go to the skill tree. Lightning spells, teleport. So let's bind this to, let's see, X. Actually, let's bind this. Oh, let's try teleporting. So you can see there is a fixed distance, it looks like, that you teleport. It doesn't matter how far you extend the stick. Let's just face this way and hit teleport. Yeah, okay. And my guess is, let's see, so let's position this corner at the very top edge. I'll look at it and I'll hit it. I don't go all the way to the edge corner. So my guess is that if I switch this to the classic graphics, that's what's happening, is it's teleporting me the max different distance that the classic graphics allow. So let's see at that rock. I'll look roughly at that rock. It's difficult. Teleport, and kind of got there. Let's try it again. So this time I'll do it. There we go. Teleport. It actually whipped me past the rock, which is interesting. Okay. So it takes you a little past what the classic graphics would give you. Let's try it again. I can see just the edge of that rock in the corner. Hit it. Boom. It put me past the rock. Interesting. So it looks like it is a fixed distance, but it is not related to the screen resolution. So as you can see, when we're in the classic graphics as well, we have the newer graphics for all of the icons for the controller, which makes sense. And if we enter the UI, yeah, that's what I thought. The UI is the new UI, which is a bit, you know, it's not disappointing. It would be kind of cool to see the pixelated UI that they've rejigged for some other parts of the game that are new, but that's okay. I guess that's nothing too crazy. That's to be expected. This is what our Kara looks like in the shop. Let me switch to, okay, and let me switch to mouse and keyboard again and see if that looks different at all. Yeah, okay, so it looks like the UI is different for the controller. My guess is what they've done is they've brought them closer together to reduce how long it takes you to scroll between them. It does take quite a while. My controller's just vibrating like crazy right now. I don't know if that's intentional. Let's go take a look at the stash. The stash is much the same. So as you can see, the UI is kind of squished together, kind of like how it used to be on the old game. So this is what it used to look like on the old game. And you can also see kind of what I meant by the rejigged old graphics. So this is a new feature with using the old graphics. But if I press G again here, go back to the new graphics, you can see the UI is quite a bit different for mouse and keyboard. And this is nice because it actually gives you the chance to drop it on the ground, as opposed to moving it between your stash. Let's say, you know, you're talking to a buddy of yours and you're like, oh, hey, check this item out. You can drop it for them to take a look at. It is a bit risky as well, though, I've noticed, as you're trying to move items, you know, from back and forth here. Sometimes you'll accidentally, let's see if I can, you'll accidentally click there and you'll drop the item, which is a bit concerning because if it's a really expensive, you know, you're transferring your HRs or something like that, you run the risk of actually dropping them. If it's a pub game, RIP your HRs. I am curious as well, though. I know that the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, I think the Xbox as well supports mouse and keyboard. So I'm curious that if you were to plug a mouse and keyboard into a PlayStation 4, would the game recognize the mouse and keyboard? And would console players be able to play at the full teleport distance and all that jazz as a PC player? I guess time will tell. Feature suggestion. Hey guys, I just wanted to end the video by saying I'll be making more videos about Diablo 2 Resurrected from footage I recorded during the alpha, as well as builds, guides, and tip videos. So be sure to sub and comment if there's any specific guides or builds you'd like me to cover. Short of that, I'll be live on Twitch streaming Diablo 2 content. I'm a relatively new channel and quite small, but I recently hit affiliate, and 100% of the money I make there will be donated to the Vancouver Rabbit Rescue, or Rabbitat, to help other bunnies like our little guy Puffy, who is featured in my live streams via the Puffy Cam. where you can sub or donate to actually give him treats. So thanks guys, and happy magic finding.